Ken Griffin walked so Howard Schultz could run. The former Starbucks CEO is blasting Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson in a new Wall Street Journal op-ed, writing that the city, quote, has turned hostile to the great businesses it made, and Wilson's socialist rhetoric viles employers. Schultz didn't stop there, pointing to chronic homelessness and bloated budgets, warning that failed leadership is driving away the very companies and tax dollars that built the city. Is Seattle just the latest, or do you see this spreading?
Feels like it's a trend line. I mean, Ken Griffin last week, but you've seen the exodus of California CEOs mostly to Florida. A few have found their way into my hometown of Austin. It's an interesting moment right now because these cities really need to raise more revenue. And all the things they want to do, all the programs and all the welfares, everything, it requires more. And yet, for some reason, they're not only being hostile, but they're making it incredibly difficult to want to build a business or thrive in these.
Except that you and Brian, maybe I'll punt this to you. Jensen Huang said, well, if they want to tax us more and do billionaires tax, I can pay more. And a lot of the founders are still going to Silicon Valley. If you want to be a startup, yes, there are other options.
Well, someone posted Jensen's all his different trusts and how he's managed. I mean, it's kind of like, is that actually the case, or is that just a nice way to shape the public rhetoric about it? Because after you've adjusted your taxes down to 13.1% net, because of all the different ways you can take advantage of your access to that kind of information, sure, you're not paying a lot, and it's easy to say that. I just wonder how many of these actually are paying 40%.
Can I make a comment on this?
Yeah.
Specifically, Daniel, to what you said. I struggle with this, and I say, if you want more money to implement all these programs like Mom Donnie's talking about here in New York City, why are you driving the Ken Griffins of the world away? And the only way I can sort of reason out of this to try to understand it is that they want to take what's there, take whatever else they can grab, and reallocate it. They want to degrade the standard of living. I actually am drawing a lot on my past experience today, but I lived in China for a while. You don't understand what a communist country looks like until you're living in one. And you see that 4 people live in 2 rooms. That's the family that I was living with. And they didn't have a car. We rode bicycles everywhere. And, you know, going out for fancy meals, all these fancy clothes, none of this is how life was. And so when you think about what they're trying to do when they chase the billionaires away, in my view, these are blue states. These are self-proclaimed Democrat socialists who are really communist, using that kind of a cloak. That, to me, is what they're trying to do. That's the only way that I can make any sense of it. And once it happens to people that are living there, it will be too late, because they won't really understand what happened until it's happened, and then they can't get out of it. Those are the people that can't afford to go across state lines to greener pastures.
Yeah, I can't speak to, I've not lived in China, but what I can say is there has to be some agenda other than trying to remove all the great businesses that help build these cities.
Dagan?
I think it'll take one large, important city to collapse in on itself. Mm-hmm. Like a Detroit, but bigger financially. A, Ford to New York drop dead moment, what happened in the 70s that with New York City, that's what it'll take, because the leftists are pushing even further left, despite the crime, despite the just filth, the homelessness. Like, these cities are not livable for the working man and woman, and they don't care. They don't care that, during 2020, they didn't care that we were getting chased down the street by marauding psychopaths. They don't care. So it will take something that compromises their power and control over the people.
I appreciate what Howard Schultz is saying here. I know
it's a little late.
I know he built a great company.
It's a little late.
But if you were as late as these CEOs are recognizing what happens to their cities as they were with their companies, none of them would be famous and they wouldn't be billionaires. They built their business and they co-signed everything that was happening in these cities because they didn't want to rock the boat. And now they leave because they can, and other people are stuck there trying to pick up the pieces. And Howard Schultz is just fine. He had political ambitions. I never heard him come out when he had political ambitions and stand strongly against any of this stuff. He didn't, because he didn't want to tick off the wrong people in the center left, okay? So I appreciate these guys, but if you're a business leader and a city has been home to the business you've built, you better the heck care about what's happening to its economy and its people before you hit the door and start saying things about it on your way out.
This is a topic for another time, but I used to think Florida, my husband's from Florida, and he's like, Florida's red, it would never go blue again. But as people start migrating, the transient little 24-year-olds who I know who come here, they vote for Mamdani, and then 2 years from now they leave. They're taking those votes with them.
By the way, you know, I in Austin, you know, our school board election just took place, and I'm in the suburbs, the West, typically red, far in the hill country, and 2 board seats on our school board just went Democrat.
Yeah.
And they'd been long Republican and very liberal, and so
And not just Democrats,
we've had a.
furries.
I mean, look,
they identify as animals, furries. You can call them that.
The net of it is that you import. So when people start to go and they don't necessarily leave with they leave with their wallets, but they bring their politics.
Yep.
So, you know, of course it's beneficial to go, but they still bring their politics with them. And then people follow.
Watch out.
There you go.
Should we do GameStop and eBay? Where should I even begin? Okay, overnight, GameStop jumps 13% because Roaring Kitty posts something, but then an hour later it's deleted. Redditors think it was hacked. Still no idea what happened. But then, maybe more fundamental news, eBay comes out and they say, we are officially rejecting your $56 billion takeover at GameStop because we don't think that it is attractive and there was no sort of credible financing plan. Who's excited about this?
You said Roaring Kitty, and I was like, oh my God, he's back.
Roaring Kitty.
Is that still a thing?
It is.
I just want to say half stock, half cash. I don't know in any context. I just had to say that because it was so good on the interview.
So good.
What don't you understand about this financing?
It's half stock, half cash, Brian.
Sounds good. The math ain't mathin'.